Am I wrong? A little kid keeps coming into my house. I live out in the country, near a big main road and on a county road. I'm the closest property to the main road, but as you continue down, I have a couple of neighbors. We live on 40 acres and have a little farmhouse, where I live with my husband and dogs, along with some farm animals outside. I do not have kids. We live a calm and peaceful life. However, there have now been 2 occasions on which a young child that lives a third of a mile down the road has come into our house uninvited. The first time, I was home alone and had just showered, doing my nails and watching a show in my makeup room. Next thing I know, I see a small shadow that looked like preschool-aged kid open my fence gate and open my front door. I had no idea who this was, and I FaceTimed my husband in case he knew who this could be. But as we checked the cameras, there were no cars or other adults around. I was in my underwear with my door closed and freaking out. Like I mentioned, I lived out in the country, and due to my neighbors all being so far away, had no idea who this kid was or where he came from. I put some pants on and went out into my living room, and this kid was running around my living room and kitchen, playing with my dogs with no worry in the world. I tried to get him to calm down and asked him what his name was or where his parents were, and nothing. He ignored me and kept playing. After a couple of minutes, I think he got bored, and he opened my door, went out the gate, and ran out to the back of my house. I lost sight of him and continued to look out towards the road in case I could figure out where he came from. Finally, I saw a young girl approaching from the neighbor's side of the road, and she shouted at me, "Where is he?" I told her I had no idea where he was, but that I had seen him go towards the back of my house and she could go look for him. She looked annoyed, but I guess she was able to grab him at some point and took him back towards the direction our neighbor's house is at. At that point, I had honestly been super upset. I yelled, "Keep that kid out of my property and out of my house," to which she just yelled, "Sorry," over her shoulder. After that, no one ever came back to apologize. My husband eventually went to the family to ask what had happened and was told that they had been unloading groceries and the little boy had managed to run away. How they didn't realize this until so much later, I'm not sure. Anyways, a year later, I would say this little boy is 5 or 6 now. I get a call from my husband while we are at work. He tells me there's a little boy in our house and that he came in through our dog door. Immediately, I ask if it's the same one as last time. He says he saw them on our cameras, but he can't be sure. He tells me that before calling me, he already called the cops, but that they are on their way. The footage shows this kid opening our closed fenced gate and coming to our front door. Our dogs are barking at him in the yard. He attempts to open the front door, sees it's locked, knocks, and then just stands there thinking. Then, he crawls in through our dog door. Our dogs have the ability to go in and out of the house as they like since their fence is closed in, but I guess this kid just figured he could do the same. Anyways, he comes in and opens the dog door to make sure the dogs can come in too. He takes off his shoes when he comes in, and then he goes on to jump on my couch and play with my dogs. After that, he turns on my TV, goes into my fridge and grabs ice pops and eats an orange from our fruit basket. Huh? He is in our house unsupervised for a total of about 15 minutes until the cops arrive and are able to get him out. He crawled out through the dog door. The cops ask him his name, and he tells them. They ask who his parents are and where he lives, and he tells them as well. The cops tell him he is not allowed to do this, that it is not his house. A couple minutes later, a car pulls into my driveway. It's the parents. The cops talk to them for a bit, and they all leave. My husband had left work to get home, but by the time he got here, everyone was gone. The cops pretty much just said that it was just a kid being a kid. My husband then went down to the neighbors and told the parents to take care of their kid. I was upset because he did wait for me to go talk to them. He knew how upset I was. The dad apologized and stated that the boy had been grounded and snuck out through his bedroom window. Apparently, he just likes to play with my dogs. The dad told the little boy to apologize to my husband. At this, the little boy spit at his dad. A week later, my husband got a call from the parents, asking if by chance this kid was in our house again, because they could not find him. We were both at work but did not see him in any of our cameras. At this point, I've calmed down quite a bit, but as soon as I remember, I get quite mad. I think it is insanely upsetting that I'm more aware of where this little boy is than his own parents are. Once again, he is not right next door to me. He had to be unsupervised for at least 30 minutes in order to make his way to my house, about a 5-minute walk, be here for 15 minutes and have the cops get here until his parents found him. He knows what he is doing, the parents are aware, but no one truly takes accountability for it. The little boy says he likes to play with my dogs. but instead of playing with them in my yard, comes into my house and makes himself at home. I feel bad for calling the cops, but I truly feel like there's a need to report this because I'm scared for my safety and that of my animals and property. If he were to leave the gate open, my dogs would definitely run out into the main road and get run over. My house is not child-proofed at all. We had a flamethrower on the kitchen table the day he came in. My husband had killed a spider outside with it. I am concerned for this little boy's safety, but at the same time, I do not want to be responsible or liable if anything were to happen to him out in our property. I also would like to feel safe in my own home. I don't feel like I should be having to keep my dogs in a kennel all day and close their doggy door just because there is a kid out there who is not monitored and was never taught to respect people's privacy. If he snuck out through his window, I'm sure he could sneak in through one as well. There's so many what ifs in this situation. And it might just be my anxiety, but I am definitely very upset. I guess this is more of a rant, and I just hope this doesn't happen again because I do intend to have the cops on speed dial. But again, am I overreacting? Update 1. I was able to look through a lot of the comments on this post, and I was able to respond to some, but I did want to say a few things. I commented on the original post, but I was not able to edit. Thank you to all that have provided helpful advice and suggestions. To those that think this is funny, I really do wish I could have a sense of humor about it, but I'm unfortunately stuck being frustrated and stressed. And to those who think it is fake, I wish I could make this up. Given this situation has occurred more than once at this point, I do feel like calling the cops was the right call, and we will do it if this happens again, or if I even see him on the property unsupervised. I do not want this little boy to get hurt, go into the property of someone who does not care that it is a child, get run over, etc. A lot of the comments made sure to let me know of our liability if something were to happen on our property, and I want to make sure there is a record of this. I unfortunately did not call the cops when this happened the first time since it was such a random incident. A lot of people suggested he could be autistic or neurodivergent. I understand it could seem that way, but I don't think it's correct to just assume or diagnose him based on a post. Regardless, I think for me it goes back to the parenting. If the parents were aware that his running away, hiding, etc. was a problem, I think the most responsible thing to do would have been to let us know and address this, so it did not catch us by surprise. Neurodivergent or not, what he is doing is not okay or safe. We will definitely be putting a lock on our gate, and we'll look into getting our dogs some sort of chip collar sensor dog door, so they can continue to go in and out, but also lock that way in. I really hope the family ups their security in the home as well. While these are the only times we have had a problem with their child, we have unfortunately also had issues with their animals coming onto the property. Their horses would break free of their enclosure and come into ours and eat our hay. I get it, they are animals, but from the looks of it, they were very hungry, and this happened more than once. The owners never really took any responsibility for it. Secondly, we had recorded incidents of their big dogs coming onto our property and attacking our farm animals. They would let their dogs loose, and they killed a couple of our chickens and some baby sheep as well. We did contact them on several occasions as soon as we saw the dogs on the cameras, and while they eventually did end up keeping them tied up, the dogs kept getting loose. My husband called the cops to ask what he could do to protect from the dogs, and he was told that since they were on his property, he could shoot if he wanted. My husband and I love and care for our animals and wouldn't ever want something like that to happen to them. So obviously, we never did anything to hurt the dogs. It was hard to tell whether they were killing out of hunger because they weren't fed or just out of instinct. We also just wanted to keep a normal relationship with our neighbors, and harming their animals wouldn't be a good way to do that. But it was a very upsetting situation. I am unfortunately not sure what happened to the dogs. I have not seen them around. A lot of people were surprised by my dogs being so chill about this. I forgot to include a picture, but they are 2 Maltese Shiatsu mixes and 1 small mutt. Potentially Schnauzer, he was a rescue. Overall, small, loving dogs, all bark and no bite, and very excited to play. Therefore, I am glad they are not a huge concern in terms of causing harm. But one can never be too sure, and like many said, they are animals after all and can be reactive unexpectedly. There was a comment that said, if this kid had found his way into your life in a way that made you feel less violated, maybe you would have opted to join his village. But he didn't, and that's not your fault, OP. If it's anyone's fault, it's his parents' fault. And honestly, I really do agree. I have never had this kid or his family over to my house, much less inside. We have had very limited interactions. Most of them have been to address problems caused by their animals, which my husband has mostly dealt with. I am perfectly fine with having a good relationship with my neighbors, but we truly do all live so spread apart that it is hard to connect with them. Some suggested I make this kid my friend and have him over, but truthfully, I do not feel comfortable having him come over or doing playdates with my dogs. Maybe if we had had a proper introduction, I would have been open to the idea, but at this point, it just makes me feel like the more comfortable he feels to be here, the more he will, and I personally do not want to deal with it. He intruded on our privacy more than once, and I am not inclined to be more involved with this family than necessary. The flamethrower, my poor husband, was getting so roasted. Get it? Pun. For this. And I just want to say, no, he is not crazy. That was my bad. We call it a flamethrower. I am not sure why. Because I Googled it and those things are intense. It was a propane torch. We have a wood stove and keep a torch inside to help light it. We just got done cutting hay in the field and have noticed more spiders near our house since then. The reason my husband used the torch, it was that he saw a huge wolf spider carrying their babies on their back on the pavement outside our front door. If he would have squished it, they would have all ran off everywhere, and I personally prefer them out of my house. This is not our preferred method of spider killing, and the torch serves a more normal purpose. He left the torch on our kitchen table before he left for work. Either way, it is kept inside the house, and I would assume it's not necessarily a child-friendly device. My lack of paragraphs. I completely understand why people are so mad. That wall of text is horrible. I'm sorry. I promise I know how to write. It was just very late at night. I was typing as fast as I could, and I only hit enter once instead of twice. I just didn't realize how it would post. Oops. Final update. TLDR. Little kid previously came into house through dog door when we were not home. Has a history of being unsupervised and coming onto our property uninvited. He came again. A lot of people interacted with my first post last year. Many let me know I was Nor. Some had some different opinions, and I greatly appreciated the suggestions and advice. I did end up calling CPS to make a report for that incident. I now have locks on the gate to my yard. My dogs still have access to the yard through their dog door, and all my exterior doors are locked. We still have cameras on our property as well as the one in the living room. But for the most recent update, something happened a few weeks ago when I was home alone in the afternoon on a weekday. Almost a year had passed since the last time he crawled into my house through the dog door, and the same kid, whose house is 1/3 of a mile away on a county road, showed up at my house again, about age 6-7 now. Recall we live on a 40-acre farm and have no connection relationship to this kid or his family, besides the various times he has barged into my house uninvited. As soon as my husband got a notification that a person was detected on the cameras and no vehicle was seen, my husband checked the hour outside cameras and noticed the kid was back, so he called me to let me know. I looked out the window, and this time, the kid was shirtless and pantless, only wearing underwear and muck boots. I immediately called the police. They took approximately 35 minutes to get out to my house. I live in the country on 40 acres. In the meantime, the kid played with my farm animals outside and ran into the open garages and shops. My geese and turkey, which are aggressive and do attach, seemed to scare him off enough that he did not get near them. I watched him from inside to keep an eye on him and to make sure he did not run off anywhere, especially toward the highway, which my property is next to. At no point at all did any of his family members come to look for him. He looked through my windows and saw me in the house. He knocked and yelled to come in, to which I responded no. He attempted to open the locked door for a minute or two. Once the police arrived, they asked him some questions, which he seemed to ignore or mumble answers to. As they placed him in the police vehicle, I noticed he had 2 baseballs that had been taken from one of our shops. The police noticed too and asked him to please return the baseballs back to me. He said no and asked if he could keep one, to which I said no and had him give them back. The officer told him it was not okay to go to other people's houses and take things that were not his. I let the police know this was not the first time. He came onto my property and let him know he had previously also gone into my house, both when I was home and also when my husband and I were both at work. I made sure to let him know I was very frustrated. The police took him back home, and he was at his house for a while. The officer did come back to let me know it seemed like he was just a kid who did not listen. Apparently, he had asked Grandma to go outside, she had said no, and he had gone outside regardless. Grandma and Mom were both home, and no one noticed he was not around for the 35 minutes plus however long he was outside, not on my property, and or however long it took him to get to my house down the road. The officer stated there is not much I can do, but keep calling them if this happens again. I did call CPS again to make a report, and made sure to let them know this was not the first time something like this happened, and that I had called last year. I let them know that I continued to be concerned for the child's safety, as well as that of my property and my animals. This kid continues to be unsupervised for prolonged periods of time, and once again, I do not want to be responsible for him and want to ensure there is enough documentation of these incidents. My husband and I are often not home, and we have no kids of our own. They probably see us as bad neighbors, but this kid continues to disrespect our space and privacy. Even the cop said he told Mom and Grandma that this behavior is not okay and can eventually develop into more dangerous or criminal behavior. The parents have never taken any initiative to apologize, communicate, or to provide us with contact information. Am I wrong? Any suggestions? What do you guys think? Let's discuss in the comments. Follow and like for more stories.